All right. It is time to react to woke TikToks. The bane of my existence. Suffer with me as we watch. Trans activists tell kids on TikTok that puberty blockers temporarily pauses puberty and you can just resume puberty when you want. Better caption, trans activist tells kids on TikTok lies.
What are hormone blockers and how do they affect your body? Well, I'm glad you asked. Hormone blockers are a series of injections and or an implant that you can have put in your arm that temporarily pauses puberty. What do you mean temporarily pauses puberty? For people assigned male at birth, puberty blockers will decrease facial hair and body hair growth, prevent your voice from getting deeper, and will limit eggplant growth. And for people assigned female at birth, hormone blockers will prevent boobie growth and getting your period. No more periods. Ay.
I can't watch the rest of it.
However, once you stop taking puberty
I can't
blockers,
watch the rest
your
of
body
it.
will then go into puberty, and that's why it's only temporary.
You know, I really wish that made me want to die less. That would be nice if this just made me want to die a little less than I want to at this moment. Imagine thinking you are some sort of like cultural dissident. You are some sort of like fighter for people's rights, you know, protector of innocent children, when in reality, you've been conned because you're a basic bitch who can be conned, right? You're dumb. You're not smart. You've been conned into making cringe marketing videos for Big Pharma. That's what you are. And you're doing it for free. You have been tricked into thinking it is of moral imperative for you to make videos advertising Lupron, a drug to chemically castrate pedophiles, and marketing it towards children. And you're not even getting paid. At least Dylan Mulvaney is getting paid for all the shit that Dylan does. At least Dylan's running up a coin. You're sitting up here trying to lie to children for free to put money in the pockets of pharmaceutical companies for a drug that which there are no long-term studies of how they actually affect kids. And you are so stupid, so deeply unintelligent that you believe that a drug that stops a young girl's period is simply irreversible and safe and no side effect. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about brain swelling. Let's talk about permanent, height, what's the word? Stunting. You know, it's just insane. It's insane. And who talks like that? Again, I wish you made me want to die less. I was having a good day. And now I'm ready for my day to end. All right. People now have a different set of pronouns which specifically identify groups are allowed to use for them. Let's see what this, it's always the hair.
Happy Pride, everybody. I already mentioned this in my story, but I've added a new set of pronouns to the pronouns that I'm comfortable being called. I've been sitting on Fair's pronouns for a while, and honestly kind of psyching myself out about it. I'm like, oh, do I really want to change this again? And then I realized, I was like, who cares? If I decide that I don't like them, I can just stop using them. My other thing about this new set of pronouns is that I would only like for queer and trans people to use them for me. Cishet people, they, them. Queer and or trans people, you can use they, them, or fair. It's all good with me. I'm excited because fair pronouns make me feel very affirmed in my not feeling like a person.
More appropriation of transsexuals. And because the general public has no knowledge of transsexuals, really, this is what they see. And so the amount of people willing to stand up for actual transsexuals is really limited to just 4 of us that are willing to speak up, right? And that's what sucks. This basic bitch with daddy issues really has the nerve to fix Zim's mouth and say, who cares? If I just want to stop using it, I can. Common theme. The last episode, we reacted to another woke TikToker who was like, sometimes I'm trans, sometimes I'm not. And I said to that person, good for you, bitch. You can turn it off. I can't. Again, the expectation for me to look at this person who thinks that pronouns are a way to enact power on people, to say this group can call me this and that group can call me that, but this group can't. And I'm supposed to look at that and be like, oh my God, that's so similar to my story of crippling gender dysphoria since the age of 5 that I underwent a very specific medical process to alleviate once I became an adult. I'm supposed to look at this person as some sort of parallel to me. And that makes sense to anyone? Raise your hand if that makes sense to you, please. And the idea of like, announcement, I added new pronouns. Pronouns are not a replacement, or they shouldn't be, for attaining a new goal, a new hobby, a new job, a new relationship. So you see these people that have no fulfillment in their life, instead of collecting new achievements in life, they collect pronouns. And at the cost of who? First of all, themselves, and embarrassing themselves online, because embarrassing. And second of all, embarrassing actual transsexuals. And it's enraging me every episode I have to sit here and like, look at them. Disgusting. Busted. Crusted. Disgusted. The Rolling Stone. Can I get y'all's opinion on like the headbands? Because I'm like obsessed with them. I feel like it gives a slight like 60s look. And just give me your opinion in the comments. But Jeffrey Marsh, sorry, I'm like all over the place today. I'm in a weird mood, but it's fine. The Rolling Stone has run cover for Jeffrey Marsh. And I wanted to include this story because the corporate press is absolutely guilty of covering for groomers all the time. And I'm done pretending like it's unintentional. It's very much intentional. So this article, the far right wants this LGBTQ TikToker dead, they say. They say that's only making them stronger. With the release of their new book, Take Your Own Advice, viral TikTok star Jeffrey Marsh tells Rolling Stone that right-wing backlash won't stand in the way of their mission. First of all, it's very easy in print to like make sure you only say they and them for someone, but can we talk about how it's literally close to impossible in real life? Like, what a nightmare. But so this headline is just ridiculous. First of all, the Rolling Stone has been woke for years now, like just ridiculous. Who even reads the Rolling Stone anymore? I don't know. I've seen them do hit pieces on people that I like love. Like they did a hit piece on Tom McDonald and interviewed me for that article, and like turned it into something negative about me being trans and in his music video, rather than something positive about how like a right-wing artist put the first trans woman in a rap video, but decided to just be like assholes about it. I don't know. I hate the Rolling Stone. Huge hate boner for the Rolling Stone. No one wants Jeffrey Marsh dead. Well, I'm not going to say no one. I'm sure some people do. However, no one who should be taken seriously is really calling for anyone to be harmed, right? This is a situation where you have someone who is addressing children, encouraging children to join something behind a paywall where several of the posts are about sex. You have someone who is actively trying to separate families, telling kids that their parents are in the wrong if they're not completely understanding of them being queer or whatever, destroying families, and proud of it. That's what people have an issue with. It's not, I can't. This is the same with, you have all these drag queen, story hour times, and the way that the mainstream media will cover it is the far right is threatening violence against drag queens. Is the far right threatening, first of all, far right, like anytime you hear the far right, there is a 90% chance it's going to mean people in the center, people who just aren't libbed the F out at all costs. So I take issue with this calling it a far right thing. I think people from all over the political spectrum have witnessed Jeffrey Marsh's demented content and been like, this motherfucker's the devil. The devil, like evil, clearly nefarious intentions, right? And I have to say, I'm not here making any like accusations that Jeffrey Marsh has really like preyed on kids in a physical way or enacted any crimes in real life, because we just don't have evidence for that. But I have to say this, the older I get, the more I have an understanding of the issue of child predators, you know, the P word that ends with Elia. You know, I've met so many people who have told me, you know, that they were victims of this as children, that I would never guess were victims of that of children. And what I've learned is that when it looks like something is about child predation, then it kind of just is, because more often than not, it looks completely innocent, right? So you have, you know, well-respected teachers and priests and, you know, stories of people who you would have never expected to be child predators. And all of a sudden it's out and everyone's shocked because at face value, they seemed like moral people. So when it looks like the person is a child predator, it's like overwhelmingly safe to assume that that's true and that your instincts are correct. Does that make sense? It's like, it so rarely looks like the stereotypical like creeper that when it is, it kind of just is. That's my position. And I feel like it's a safe position to take because in all likelihood, it's like, I just don't, I lean towards an extreme distrust of Jeffrey Marsh's intentions with his child audience. I'll say that. That's how I'll word that. And so the fact that the Rolling Stone is, you know, running cover for this person is just disgusting. But what are you going to do? I often say it's like the LGBT community for decades faced real discrimination, hardships, hatred, and they had to learn to always double down, and they had to learn to defend anything LGBT related at all costs because the cost was high not to. They were fighting for their rights. So we've been trained to still do that, even when it involves someone that does need to be criticized, someone that does need to be, you know, deplatformed. I think that if you, yes, I have no problem calling for a deplatforming of an individual who is using that platform to prey on children, whether it's psychologically, sexually, physically, etc. And I think that Jeffrey Marsh marks maybe more than one box of those, right? But what are you going to do? I'm sure Rolling Stone and CNN and everyone else will continue to run cover for people like Jeffrey Marsh. And we'll continue dragging him. Hey, if you guys enjoyed that short clip from the podcast, make sure you guys subscribe to this channel as well as my main channel and watch the full episode, which will be somewhere on the screen.